I, 31 female, have not spoken to my sister in 10 years after she had an affair with my ex. I was with my ex from age 15 until we were 20. My sister was 19 at the time and the affair had been ongoing. Most likely they started the affair only a short time after my sister turned 18. My ex was the same age as me. My ex proposed to me while we were together. My sister was helping and encouraging me to marry him before he proposed. This was so he would be around and they could keep sleeping together. We got engaged and a few months later my sister told me I couldn't marry him because she was pregnant with his child. She tried to salvage a relationship with me and asked me to understand and not be mad at her. I told her she was disgusting and I would never forgive her. I also told our parents what she'd done. I saw my sister once after her first child was born, a year or so after I learned about the affair. She told me she missed me and wanted her daughter to know her aunt. She tried her best to get me to at least agree to a relationship with her daughter, but I told her it wasn't possible and I was still not going to forgive her, and I told her not to talk to me again. My parents and extended family also stopped talking to her when she started dating him for real, and they only resumed contact after they broke up. They then supported her because of the kids. My parents couldn't bring themselves to turn their back on their grandkids or sever the relationship forever. I was okay with it because I do understand, but her having kids was not an incentive for me to repair things. I'm now happily married and am on myself. A few weeks ago my parents called and told me my sister had been living 20 minutes from me for the last 2 years. They know I don't want to talk about her, so until this point they hadn't. She moved out of state for a job and then she lost the job. Her landlord had told her she needed to be out in 60 days because he was repurposing the house. Without her original job and with no support network here, she had turned to them. She didn't want to pull her kids away from the place they were used to now, so my parents decided I should be the one to help. They told me that if I could help by putting her in touch with people for a job, and maybe another rental, it would be amazing. They wanted me to step in before the 60 days was up. I refused to help and told them I would never do a single thing for her again. They pleaded with me to reconsider and told me to think of the kids. They asked me if I hated my sister that much and I said yes. I told her it'd be bad enough to be the affair partner, but to encourage me to get engaged and help him plan it while they were cheating behind my back was such a low thing to do. I said the fact that she stayed long enough to have another child with him showed how little she cared about me. They told me to be a better person than this. Am I the idiot for refusing to help my sister out? Not the idiot. Your parents are fine to resume their relationship with their daughter separate from you, but they are entirely out of line in demanding you do anything, and then trying to shame you when you do not comply is disgusting. They're the ones that need to be better people. No contact is no contact. It doesn't mean no contact until I need to use you and your resources. Hard pass. The person most obligated to help the kids is their father. The people obligated to help her, if any, are her parents. Why would you recommend someone with such poor judgment? Hey, you should hire my sister. She's unemployed and soon to be homeless due to a series of bad decisions. Also, I haven't spoken to her in 10 years because she had a multi-year affair with my then boyfriend, who she actively convinced me to become engaged to so she could continue having intimacy with him in secret. This only came out because she became pregnant, after which she continued dating my ex for over a year. Anyway, you can probably trust her. OP is being asked to put her current and future professional reputation in the hands of the person she trusts least on earth. With every fibre of my cold, dark soul, I hope OP sends this to her parents. Where is little Mr. Cheating McBaby Daddy, and why is he not the one the parents are pushing to step up to help sister McLiar Loser? OP, you are totally not the idiot, and your parents are doing what many parents do, glossing over the past in hopes of a happy family future. I hate the forcing of relationships. Dear God, your parents can deal with it. She's their child, not yours. I, 25 female, don't like money talk. I keep it private because growing up I've seen the things people will do for money. I've seen it destroy my brothers. My parents died when I was little and I was taken in by my grandparents who raised me. It was a very privileged upbringing, but they also raised me to be frugal and grateful for what I have. I'm incredibly thankful for what I have. I don't show off. I don't care for labels. Most of my clothes are thrifted. My husband, 33, and I live well within our means. The problem is that our friend group has just discovered I'm rich and they're mad. We had friends over for dinner and the wife of my husband's best friend went into our office to take a private work call. We've let friends take private calls in there before with no issue. She scooped while in there and found documentation about my trust fund, investments, etc. When she came out, she was mad, and I thought it was just because of the call, so I left her alone and continued cooking. She told everyone I was rich, showing them one of the documents she'd taken from the office. My husband took it but told her it was none of her business. At dinner, she kept going on about me masquerading as poor because I thrift, have a cheap old car, travel in economy, and don't offer to cover the bill when we go out. Our other friends agreed, and we were angry because I'd never said I had money or offered money when one of them was struggling. We ended up cutting dinner short and asking everyone to leave. I had messages from them, mostly women, being angry that I never told them I had money. I've even had a couple of requests for money. One has already asked for $50,000 to cover their student loans because I had my college paid for. I had scholarships that covered everything. My husband has told me to ignore them and that it's none of their business. His friend called and apologized for all this, as his wife shouldn't have snooped. I've been very much frozen out from the group. I've been told I won't be invited to anything until I pay my equal share, and by equal share, they mean I pay for everything. Am I the idiot for not telling my friends I'm rich? Not the idiot. I don't know why you even ask if you're the idiot. If I were you, I would have been boiling mad at the gross invasion of privacy and snooping into things that have nothing to do with them. Add to that the audacity of demanding you pay their student loans just because you have money. What kind of entitled BS is that? Those women are not your friends. You haven't been honest with them about my financial situation. Jesus, you are not an idiot for not telling them about your finances. It's none of their business how much you or anyone else in this group of friends has. Just because you can afford to pay for everyone doesn't mean you have to. Cut them out. They're dead wood. Dear friend group, I acknowledge that not telling any of you I had a trust fund has upset you, but I didn't mention it because I was worried it would bring out the worst in you, as I've seen before. Unfortunately, my worries were well-founded because you've all mistreated me following information that was shared without my consent. Please don't contact me again. I wouldn't even bother granting them an explanation. They'd all be instantly blocked and discarded from my mind. When I discovered that my friend had taken private paperwork from my office and shown it to the rest of the group, I would have told them to get out and not come back. I hope you find better friends soon because your old ones suck. My mom got remarried 2 years ago, which was 5 years after we lost my dad. I, a teen, was 11 when he died, and my sister Sky, a younger teen, was 9. My mum's husband George is a widower too, technically, though he was separated from her for a few years, and his kids, now all tweens, didn't know their mom. So this means they feel like they were always missing that perfect nuclear family. While Sky and I already have that. We lost it when our dad died, but that is still our perfect nuclear family, and we didn't feel like we were missing out on having another dad, and we didn't wish for more siblings. Both Mom and George expected me to see all 4 kids as equal siblings. They expected me to do for my step-siblings what I do for Sky. My mom expected me to baby my step-siblings the way I used to baby Sky. They expected me to be physically affectionate with my step-siblings because I hug Sky, kiss the top of her head, and sometimes pick her up when we play fight. They expected all of that because George's kids never had their mom. In December, I had to write a fake will for my homework. I basically left everything to Sky with some stuff for my mom. George read the thing over my shoulder as I finished it up, and he told my mom how I didn't leave anything for his kids in this fake will. They asked me about it the next day, and I was like, Sky's my sister. Of course she'd get almost everything. The 3 of us started therapy after that. They said they noticed that Sky and I don't treat George's kids the same, and the fake will was alarming because it would break the kid's heart if that were a real scenario. They expressed the importance of fulfilling my obligations as an older sibling, treating them all the same, and most importantly, truly loving them all the same. Same for Sky. She should embrace being an older sibling, yada yada. A week ago, Mum brought up that I had made a commitment to George's kids when they got married and had signed up to be their brother. They expressed that they expected us to be one whole nuclear family, where nobody was treated differently and we all loved each other equally. They said that was what they would demand from us as the oldest 2 because we're the ones who are not showing that they love everyone. When my time to speak came, I called my mum a liar for saying I'd signed up for anything. I said I never signed off on her getting married or being a sibling to anyone other than Sky. Technically, I didn't sign up for that, but it was because I loved Sky. Then I told them to check their expectations before they get out of control because they will never get the family they imagined us to be. I told them it's not what I want or want to work toward. Mom told me I had no right to call her a liar, and they said it's cruel to share that I have no intention of agreeing to be a good brother to George's kids. They said I showed how much of a child I am. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You weren't obligated to treat them like you do your sister and your mom and her new husband. You must understand that each kid is their own person, and forcing people to have relationships will only drive the wedge faster. If it's not going to happen naturally, it won't happen. It's absolutely insane for the adults to not only put that pressure on you, but to actually articulate it and be upset over it not happening. I'm kind of caught up on the write a fake will for a homework assignment. I can't believe these people are bullying you over a fake will that you had to write for school. You can leave your stuff to whoever you want to. My brother was really wealthy and he kept telling us he was leaving all his stuff at the animal shelter because he hated everyone in our family. None of us got mad about that. We don't have a right to any of his stuff. I think everyone's the idiot here. Well, you are a teen and know what it felt like to lose your dad. Imagine those step-siblings never knowing a mom. Please try not to be selfish and help out with uniting the family. Explain to your mom you do not want all babysitting duties. She needs to hire at times because you're at an age to enjoy your teenage years. Yet she is your mom and she loves your stepdad. You love your mom. Try or you will end up a bitter idiot. My son is the first in my family to get married. I've never been married. I've always been a single mother. I'm 65. My son and his wife live 5 hours away from me and I don't see them often. When I heard the engagement news, I told my son I wouldn't have much money to contribute towards the wedding, but I'm always supportive. They got back to me via text and told me they never expected anything from me as they knew my financial position and that I'm also housing my daughter and grandson. I will also say I'm a very shy person and have social anxiety. For their engagement party they held in my city, I came for an hour and left. Big social gatherings aren't my thing. I don't think my daughter-in-law took it well, but I'm sure my sons explained my social anxiety. For their wedding, I was sent an invitation, and my kids and I planned on attending along with my one brother and his wife. My family is extremely small, and my daughter-in-law's side had probably 100 guests. While I don't know much about weddings and wasn't asked to help with anything, I just showed up when the day came. Upon entering, we sat in the church, in the pews, waiting for the ceremony, and her family was in the hallways, all socializing. My son came and sat with us for an hour before the wedding and then sat with us halfway through the dinner. He also stood in line with us for pictures while his wife was socializing. My daughter-in-law won't talk to us and it's extending to my son because we ruined her day. She said we didn't help with the wedding planning or want to be involved even though she understood I couldn't help financially. She was upset I never once reached out to her if they needed help and that I didn't care to socialize and talk to anyone at the wedding, and that my son had to keep leaving her side to make us comfortable. She also said her family asked all night if we even wanted to be there because we seemed aloof and rude. Because of this, she doesn't think we support them or their marriage. My son said my daughter-in-law is highly disappointed in us. I wasn't rude to anyone and tried to let them enjoy their day without intruding. Am I the idiot? I'm sorry, but I have to say you are the idiot, though obviously not intentionally. I notice people keep saying that the daughter-in-law didn't communicate expectations, but Frank, they're trying to say hello to her family, your son's family. It absolutely does come off as rude. I understand social anxiety is hard. I have social anxiety, but you're a grown woman, and you need to be able to make yourself say hello to what is now your son's family. None of them approached OP. You are not the idiot considering your social anxiety. Nothing stopped your daughter-in-law for asking you for help or her family from approaching you at the wedding to socialize. You showed up for the engagement party for a reasonable enough period if no one was engaging with you. Yeah, I'm sure OP seemed super approachable after her great escape from the engagement party. For goodness sake, does no one read the whole post and consider it before contributing? OP has set a precedent of wanting to be left alone at best and not wanting to have a damn thing to do with this at worst. OP seems very self-centered, and the way the story is written, the whole wedding, her focus was on herself. Genuinely so confused here, but maybe I messed up. My 43 female son, Tween, had a sleepover this weekend with 4 other boys at my house. They were fine and well behaved and played video games and stuff. You know, kids. I thought I would give them a special treat in the morning since it was a sleepover and got half a dozen donuts for the boys and 1 for me. Quick and easy breakfast for a fun morning. I typically make things like egg, toast and fruits and smoothies, but I thought it was a special occasion. One of the boys told his mom, I guess, And I got a horrible Facebook message saying I'm terrible for feeding my kids this and that I'm going to make him obese. I tried to explain, but she said her son wasn't going there again and blocked me. As far as I know, her son has no health issues, so eating a donut would not be super detrimental to him. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Donuts after a sleepover sounds perfectly normal and delightful. If this kid's mom didn't want her kid to have sugary sweets, she should have informed you beforehand. Also, what was she expecting to happen food-wise at a sleepover? You did fine. Sleepovers are for doing fun things that you wouldn't normally do, like staying up really late playing games and eating cold leftover pizza or pie for breakfast. The mom could have been reasonable and said, "Hey, please don't feed my kid donuts for breakfast," to which you could have responded with, "Sure, won't happen again." But she didn't allow you to respect her boundaries with her kid. It sucks for your son that this mom is like this, but you did nothing wrong. It sucks for your son's friend too, because kids with parents that are that severe about treats often have a bad relationship with food. They're never taught how to moderate, so when they finally get a taste of junk food, they go all in and don't know how to stop. Either that or they become paranoid about the slightest fluctuation in weight and then, hello, eating disorder. Some people really shouldn't have kids.